Hello and welcome to another quick tutorial. Recently I did a tutorial for the real displacement and how to use textures, real displacement textures and how to use them in Cinema 4D. But I did it in German, as you can see here, and I got many requests that I do the same tutorial in English. Okay, now I found time and I will do this. And yeah, here is the Real Displacement Textures homepage website. So they have some explanations here under info, how you can use it, so the basic setup and everything, and for Unreal Engine and for Substance Designer, Octane Standalone, Octane for Cinema 4D, V-Ray for Cinema 4D, but not for Cinema 4D only. So I will show you how to do this. Okay, so I'm going back to home. So if you want the textures, you can buy it here, of course. And yeah, let's go to Cinema, and I have here, I do it with this sand texture here. Let's start in Cinema. I show you on these textures. You see here is the color texture, and you see it's 210 centimeters. So it's it works best with a plane, like a plane with 200 centimeter by 210 centimeter. But it works on other things too. You will see it. So sometimes you have to tile it or something. But let's make a plane with exactly this 210 centimeter. And of course, for the displacement, we need lots of subdivisions. So let's start here with 100 subdivisions. And then we can work with subpolygon displacement or something like this. The next thing is we need a texture. So go to the texture manager, double click in it and double click the texture. First thing is the color channel. So we go to the color. You see we have a 4K texture and 8K texture for each of these. And for the example here I take the 4K texture. With the 8K texture, if we have a close-up or a bigger file or something else, you work better with this one, with the 8K, but for the example it's okay with 4K. So I drag this in my color channel here and under the texture. I don't have to save it now, and just drag the texture on my plane. So I go here under the render settings to my low GI. This is just ambient occlusion, global illumination, and quasi Monte Carlo, none, and the custom samples at 4 just, and here progressive. Okay, and now make an interactive render, and we get, okay, now we get nothing. We have the GI, but we have no lights and nothing else. So I just take a physical sky for this example. And we get this here. The next step is I need displacement. So I activate my displacement channel, go back to the maps here, and here is the depth. The depth picture is for the displacement. I drag it in my texture here, and I should see something. And we see something. And now you see that's not really high quality, so now we activate the subpolygon displacement with 4, and we see it looks much better now. Maybe we make the height a little more. It's too high. And yeah, but I don't, here if we go to intensity centered, means it displaces up and down. And I want just up, so I go to intensity. And then I have to go with here a little higher, let's say 15. Okay, that looks immediately nice. But we have a lot of other channels. So now we go to the reflectance channel, activate it. For the sand, I take a Fresnel of asphalt or something else, a dielectric, of course, and I take asphalt here. And here I take everything to 100%, roughness to 100%, reflection to 100%. Normally I don't use specular, but I'll show you later we can use it here, but normally I don't use specular, so every other thing I have to 100%. So let's speak about the roughness. We have here, you don't see it here, we have a short, a very small arrow here, and if you click on it, it opens a texture slot. Now we go back to our maps, and we said we need roughness. And here you see we have a map named roughness. So we drag this inside the roughness texture, and we are done. Okay. And it's here 100% because everything will be set through the map here. So we can go here to 100% and the map does everything what we want. How can I tell you this? If I go with the map and make the map darker, let's go up here. You will see it, you see it gets more glossy, and as brighter it is, as more roughness I get, and this is with this black and white, so this gray image here that it sets everything. You see light gray and white, this sets the roughness. And the same we do, let's close it, the same we do with reflection. You have a small arrow key and a texture tag in it. Go back, and we have this reflection is named gloss here, and we take this gloss and put it in here, and immediately we see okay, that looks nice. Of course sand doesn't reflect much, so okay, this would be okay for this. Normally I don't use specular, but you can use here with 100%. And here we have a texture too, and for this it would be this texture here, this high gloss. You can put it in here, and this is for the specular, this is for the highlights. But as I said, normally I don't use specular because it's just nothing else than a fake reflection. Okay, we are done here in the reflection channel. What we have more? We have now here an AO, that comes a little later. We have a bump channel. The bump channel we don't need really because we have the displacement and we get normals and everything. We won't see much difference with the bump channel. I'll show you this. The next interesting channel is the normal channel here, the normal picture. So let's go to our texture and activate the normals. And the normals make much more details in this displacement. Go to the normals, we have the texture tag here, and just drag again the normal inside here. And you immediately see how much detail we get here, and here you see the same. So that's very nice. And now we have here an AO. And that means, I'll show you this at last. Oh no, this is okay. So now so I would do it and add the EO too. Okay, let's the EO have to go in the diffusion channel. This is the ambient occlusion. So okay, you've seen it getting a little darker, but I deactivated it for the moment. So what I do now is I make here some renders. Go to the physics and go to fixed with 1 is okay. So now I make a render with ambient occlusion activated here and deactivated here, because I don't have to activate it here when I have it in the render setting. But here normally I don't use it so often because this works for the whole scene, this ambient occlusion, and sometimes you don't need it for the whole scene, you just need it for some objects. And so it don't have to calculate the whole scene with ambient occlusion. So we get faster renders if we deactivated ambient occlusion and just use it for objects and textures where we need it. So, but now I make just one render with ambient occlusion. So let's see what we get with this setting. get a very nice texture just with it is just displacement, nothing modeled, nothing else, just displacement. Okay, and now I do the same render. Let's this from before test renders. So now I do the same render without ambient occlusion here. The ambient occlusion, these are contact shadows. That means when edges come close together, there will be shadows. So the difference now is, you see, this is with ambient occlusion, and this is without ambient occlusion. It would be okay here without ambient occlusion, because this ambient occlusion is maybe too much. And now we just activate Now we activate the ambient occlusion here in our texture here, and render it again. And now we have just the ambient occlusion there where the texture is. So, and now it's darker, but it's just darker where I need it. And you see it, this is ambient occlusion everywhere. Okay, this is ambient occlusion everywhere, and this now is ambient occlusion just with the texture, and this is without ambient occlusion. So the best result for me is in the texture. And yeah, because now we have it just, as I said, just there where we need it. You see here, the dark things here we need ambient occlusion, and everywhere else we don't need it. Okay, and now I just add the bump channel here, so you see we don't have any, not much difference, maybe you see it. For this we have here somewhere a bump, yeah, here the bump texture. And just again drag it in the texture slot. Nope. And now I render it again. And this is now with bump, and you see without bump and with bump. Without, so you see almost no differences. So the bump channel is not really necessary. Okay, yeah, that's it. So you can set up your real displacement texture. Of course, you can now play with it. You can make this editable with C on your keyboard, and let's go to the point node, and let's make with the magnet tool. That's too big. If you want to change the size of the magnet of any tool, just press your middle mouse button and drag it. If you drag left and right, you see it get bigger and smaller, and up and down is the smoothness, the hardness, the smoothness, softness, however, the pressure, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so now I can go, let's say, here up a little bit, make some things here, maybe down, and render this. And you see we get a really nice looking texture. It looks really great. And nothing is modeled, nothing is maybe the texture is here a little too, no, it could be like this, maybe a little too high. Let's go a little down with the displacement. Let's 10. That was okay with 15. Let's see, 13. So, and if you think it's not sharp enough or not enough details, try the 8K version, the 8K textures, or you can try to go with the subdivision level up, but don't go too high here. Every time it needs a little longer to calculate, of course. But you see from here you don't see many difference. From 4 to 5 is okay, maybe even 6. But no, with 6 we don't have many difference. So we can stay by 5 here. and we have a nice real displacement texture here. Yeah, that's it. I hope it was helpful, and yes, more is not to say to this. The next tutorial will come for sure, and I think it will come soon. Of course, this, for sure this weekend, so I just have to think about what I do next. But the list is long, so I will find something. Okay, so have a nice day, have a nice Friday, and jump into the weekend with fun. Hope to see you soon. So bye bye and ja, tschüss und baba.